Wow. This is the worst. Oh my God. Fuck. Anyway, okay. Figuring shit out because apparently I sent out a bad link or something. I don't even know. Anyway, so give me a couple minutes because what the hell? I don't even know. Anyway, apparently, to start with, I had put down to use some kind of software. I don't know. I meant to put webcam, but okay, it picked software for me. So I don't know what the hell that all shit was about. Gonna see this fucking light here, if it looks any better or not. I've got blue, yellow. Where's yellow? Well, let's see. A little bit brighter. And that's not really. That light's kind of weird. I don't know. I don't really think it looks better. Anyways, okay. Jesus Christ. There's way too many settings. So hopefully people can hear me okay. Obviously I can't hear you. Hopefully over here on this little side thingy is where I'm going to send or see messages. So I'm going to send just a test message because I'm old and just want to see if it goes out there. Hopefully, if anybody feels like hopping on there and letting me know if you can even see or hear me, please do so. Okay. Somebody said they can actually see me. Jesus Christ. We ran to Mobile earlier today, and then, we forgot that Mobile has traffic. And it was really bad. So getting back here, we literally just ran in the house like 10 minutes ago, and I was like, fuck, I have never done this before. Jesus Christ, let me get on here. And then it's like, oh, you said you were going to use streaming software. What the hell is that? I don't even know what that is. Anyway, so then I'm like, okay, Googling, how do you change your settings? So I just canceled the other one, and now there's this. Anyways, I'm going to give it another minute or so that other people can pop on and hopefully not see quite how frazzled I am. I'm going to pretend like I've been here knowing what the hell I'm doing this whole time. Oh my God. Anyways, hopefully everybody out there is staying safe and having fun, right? Yeah. Okay. I didn't put anything incriminating in the background, did I? I don't think so. Let me just cover that up. That's for the bodies. Anywho, Jesus Christ. I hope everybody finds the new link. I don't even know if it matters. Like, I guess if they use the old link, they would still be on the channel and maybe see that there's live shit going on another one. I don't know. Anyways. So, okay, now I know we got a couple of people, right? I mean, that's more than none. And I didn't even have to have my mom get on here. Anyways, so to get started, since it is 6 p.m. Central Standard Time, and unless people get on here and just ask like a whole shit ton of questions, I'm not expecting this to go for much more than 20 or 30 minutes. Although, as you can see, I do love running my mouth. So if you have a question you want me to try and address, do put it in the sideline over there, and I will try and get to it. If it's a topic that I think I would probably be talking for a half hour about, then I'll give you kind of the short answer, and I'm going to write it down as a topic that I probably need to do a longer video on. So to get started, while I'm waiting for people to arrive and everything, and waiting in case anybody wants to put questions. If you don't, that's fine. I already have a few anyway, because like I said, this is the first time I've ever done this shit, if that isn't obvious enough. And so I'm going to try and just try and survive. Oh my God. Anyways, so introducing myself for those who don't know, I am Stacy Pace. I am one of the nurse practitioners for Spectrum, the other clinic. The other one is Lee Pace, which is my husband. And we both started this clinic a few years ago because Mississippi sucks ass for the care that it gives to transgender people. And, we kind of wanted to change that. And I believe we have. I believe we've done a pretty decent job, at least, of getting some access to hormones out there. Hopefully in the future, we will be expanding, our services and whatnot. And anywho, so let's see. First question I'm going to go with. I got my little sticky note here until I see like a better one pop up or something like that. So someone had asked me earlier today if I could mention on here about like name change stuff. So, I'm not really like overly involved in the name change process other than like writing letters and stuff for people, which is perfectly fine. I have my own template and everything and just plug your crap in there, send it to you, no problem. But as far as like going to the courthouse and all that, I don't have much to do with that, but I do have a friend out there. His name is Jensen. And he used to do a lot of work with the ACLU and stuff. He's doing his own thing and support groups and things now. Anyway, so I'm going to give a shout out to him with the Trans program, which is spelled exactly how you would think, TRANS program. Anyway, and they do some support virtual calls and stuff like that. And he is an excellent, excellent resource for questions like that, because that was pretty much literally his job, was to help people kind of navigate name changes, hormone therapy, finding medical providers and things like that. And if they got discriminated against at their jobs, he helped with that stuff too. But for the driver's license, name changes, birth certificate name changes and stuff like that, so he gave me a lot of different, very helpful forms. Like some of them are the actual forms you need to have filled out, with instructions on what you need to do. There's others that have like approximate prices. Like, so the prices can change, year to year or whatever. So, I mean, the prices may be different, but the process itself is usually about the same. Every county might have a different little rinky-dink requirement here or there. But anyway, what I was going to do for folks that are very interested in that is on our website, otherclinic.org, on the education tab, I'm going to put those forms down there at the very bottom of the education list of stuff. Like I have a whole bunch of videos and things for people on hormone therapy. And I think at the bottom of that page, I'm just going to put the PDF files there for anybody who wants them. And you can kind of navigate the forms pretty easily by yourself with the instructions that he has typed out and given. But if you have questions or anything, I'm also going to have his email address. It's hello@transprogram.org. So that's, of course, the word hello at trans, TRANS, program.org. And you can kind of ask some of the questions there. And if you're interested in any of the virtual meetings or support things that that they do, you might, just write to them and say, hey, Jensen, Stacy was talking about you and the good things you're doing. Just kind of wondering. But like I said, he's also very good for asking questions about getting these kind of name changes and stuff going. Anyway, so sorry I'm not exactly the best information source on that. I'm more on the medical side, so I do provide the letters that sometimes are needed, but anyways, okay, let's see. Someone's actually got a question for me. Hold on. One main question. What are your thoughts on disproportionate prevalence of autism, ASD in the transgender nonconforming community? How true is this? It is very true. It is very true. So there have been many studies done showing just kind of a prevalence of autistic qualities on the spectrum, and and those of the transgender persuasion, whether that be non-binary or binary trans, whichever. There have been a lot of studies showing that it does seem to coincide, and really and truly, I feel like everybody's got these differences of development. We've got intersex folks, we've got transgender folks, we've got, folks on the spectrum and all that. So, these are all differences in human development, and they're quite natural. And I think that whatever gene it is that codes for someone being trans also maybe happens to be the one, for those who are autistic. Just kind of my take on that. That part has not been scientifically proven that there's a specific gene for, trans and autism and all this stuff. But there have been studies showing that there is a much higher prevalence in the trans population of autistic qualities as opposed to just general pops. So that's my thoughts. It is very true that it's more prevalent in the trans community. Yay. Hopefully that helped anyway. So till I get another question over there, I'm going to move on to the other questions that I got emailed to me earlier today. Someone said, "Why, why do we do this clinic?" And I said, "Why not?" I don't know. I don't know what specifically they meant behind that. But maybe they meant, why did two cis idiots over here decide to do that? But I say, well, why not? I don't, I don't know. I've always been kind of an asshole, and whenever I see something that doesn't look right, and the state of trans healthcare in Mississippi doesn't look right, I'm like, well, can I do something to help that? Yeah. Okay, well then let's do it. Yay. And the haters are going to hate. So there's the answer to that question. Why do we do it? Why not? You don't really need a reason to do the right thing. You just do it. Anyways, so let's see. Someone else had written and said, do you need to stop your hormone therapy for surgical procedures and such? So this is widely debated. So my hard answer is no, you don't have to stop hormone therapy for surgery. That they've actually done studies on that. And there is no increased incidence of blood clotting and stuff like, that they tend to be worried about in those who continue their hormone therapy throughout the procedure, post-op, pre-op, intra-op, all that. The studies show that there is no increased incidence in thrombotic events, meaning clots. A lot of people get worried about that. A lot of surgeons worry about that. It is the surgeon's prerogative. However, if they're not comfortable with you being on it, they may tell you to get off. The most common is they'll tell you to get off of it like 2 weeks before the procedure, and then maybe hold your hormone therapy for about a week or two after the procedure. I mean, that's fine and all, I guess. Like I said, if they're not going to do the procedure on you unless you stop, or say you stop your hormones, then what can I say? There's not really much of a way around that. If you try and argue it with them, you're probably not going to win the point, even if you show them the studies that say that you don't have to stop for hormone for any kind of surgeries and whatnot. Very nice, Denise. Yes, I'm glad to hear that, because I mean, a lot of times I find that the surgeons, they're going to err on the side of caution, and if there's even a whiff or a hint out there that there could possibly be some issue or whatever, a lot of times they'll just say, well, why not just be on the safe side and stop it? But I'm here to tell you, sometimes there are folks out there that are a little bit too dysphoric to be stopping their hormone therapy for that length of time. It'd be different if it was like 1 day, 2 days or something, but they're asking for anywhere from 2 to 4 weeks and sometimes longer. I mean, that seems a little bit excessive when the data is not there to support doing this. So I'm glad to hear there from Denise that was not the case for her with that with her surgeon. So let's see. No, the questions over there. So someone also asked, well, actually they wrote in, they just said, progesterone, yes or no? Okay. I guess I'll have to lean towards yes, because I do prescribe it. I guess I'll go into a little more detail about that. I know I've done a video about that before. In case anybody has already watched that, I'll just do a brief of that. So progesterone is typically used in trans feminine individuals for enhanced chest growth. And me personally, if I were in that situation, because I can't give official medical advice on here and everything, so I'll just tell you, if it was me in my situation, if I was a trans feminine individual and I was thinking about going on progesterone, me personally, I would wait till around 2 years or so. Really and truly, it's more a development stage rather than a length of time. However, there's the Tanner stages of breast development, so you look at how the shape of it is, how the nipple looks, and all that, to determine if you're far enough along where progesterone would really need to be a thing. But in general, that's going to be somewhere closer to the 2-year mark. And that tracks along with cisgender feminine development. So, whenever cis chicks start their cycles and whatnot, a lot of times that first year to 2 years, there's no eggs involved in that cycle. So, it's just kind of like annoying for being annoying's sake, I guess. It's like prepping you or whatever. But anyway, and later on, 1 to 2 years down the line, then progesterone kicks into the cycle as well. And then you also see enhanced breast development after that stage. which is where this thought that adding progesterone later on should be the thing rather than starting it out from day one. There is no evidence out there to say as of yet that, anyone is more right than the other person. I just say for myself, it just makes logical sense that if, the way cis chicks are developing, that it takes a year or two before progesterone becomes a thing in their life, that there's probably some reason for that, but who knows? I could be wrong, what do you know? A healthcare provider saying they could be wrong. Anyway. But yeah, if it was me, I'd wait a couple of years, whatever. Let's see. So next, y'all are just not throwing the questions at me. That's fine. I know it was very short notice. I tell you like one day before you get here, and I'm like, come on, show up. Anyway, but I do appreciate folks showing up and at least helping me test this out to see what the hell it does and everything. One other question that I had recently was one that I think is a problem for just about anybody, not just trans folks. They said, what do I think about passing, or some variation of that? What do I think about the goal of hormone therapy being to pass? And for those who may not, know the term pass, that just means that, if someone clocked you down the street and they're like, yeah, that, and you're presenting femme, that they would be like, that's a girl or whatever, meaning that you pass as whichever feminine or masculine identity you're presenting outward to the world. So what are my thoughts on that? Oh my God, there's so much fucked up about society right now. I don't even know where to start. So I honestly, personally, just hate the idea of passing. I think that is society just shitting right into your brain. And here's why. And I know, like, a cis person's idea of passing is worth like a bucket of buttholes to a trans person, because what really does my opinion matter there? But so let me just tell you my little experience on passing. So, even as a cis chick, we have all this stupid BS just shoved into our minds that we're supposed to look like, and that's shoved into your mind too, as a trans guy, trans gal, or non-binary pal or whatnot. I went the other day to try and buy some nice clothes, because you can see I wear super fancy stuff day in and day out. But I had to go and buy something for my sister-in-law's wedding. And I actually ended up just sitting in the dressing room feeling like shit, and didn't buy anything, basically wanted to crawl into a hole and die. Because my body is not what America says that it should be. It's not, thin, but with curves and everything. And, I've been thin, I've been fat, I've been in between, and I'm never happy, never quite happy. And, it's going to be because I'm very short. I'm 5'2", and so even whenever I'm thin, it doesn't quite still match up to the long leg, long torso type stuff. And you get down to it, and you're just like, oh well, I got my right boob's a little bigger than the left boob, and my other hip doesn't look, And I mean, we judge ourselves so much based on the dumb crap that society's dumping in our brain. And I feel like trans women probably get it the worst, but trans guys, I mean, y'all aren't going to just sit back and not take some bullets here, because I mean, the toxic masculinity that's out there that says that you have to be big and buff and manly and everything. I mean, that's just bullshit too. And that's a lot of stress on you. So, and it also says, oh, well, you should dress this way. You're a guy, so why don't you dress this way? You can't have nail polish. Fuck that. If you feel like wearing nail polish, wear it. What's it matter? So more and more that I get into this crap, me personally, I don't feel like gender has an application to my life. That will be my answer. I think that it is a societal creation, and that it does no good for my life, because every time I try and conform to what I have been told constantly that I'm supposed to look like, do, or feel or whatever, then I feel like I'm a total failure. And so I'm trying to work away from that. Although obviously from my my breakdown in the dressing room stall, that hasn't quite happened, and I'm almost 40 years old. So my idea of passing is I fucking hate it, and I wish that that idea would go away from everybody, not just the trans community and everything. And I'm really, really sorry that people do that with y'all and put that idea in your head that you have to pass. But anyways, let me see. Somebody asked something over here. Beep, beep, beep. Let's see. Let's say as a trans man, I would want to get into weights and bodybuilding. Would you prescribe more tea to someone if they chose to do that? So likely not. What can actually happen besides the DEA banging down your door, wondering why you're prescribing so much medicine and getting people's testosterone levels to such heights. And DEA, meaning that's the government regulatory agency that watches controlled substances. They're quite tense about that. Anyways, so in regards to working out and bodybuilding and everything, if you work out and you have a quote normal range of testosterone, for those who are looking for more masculine bodied results, you will do just fine. Like you will do fine. Increasing your testosterone can actually cause the opposite effect. If you've ever seen these massive bodybuilders and they have this teeny little peen, one of the reasons is because whenever you get your testosterone level so high, it converts itself into estrogen. That's just kind of the body's protective measure. There's this thing called aromatase, and it has a really fun time combining with testosterone to aromatize into estrogen. And so then you can end up with some fatty tissue across the chest. That's not cool. And then also shrinkage of the genital area, which isn't as big a problem in trans guys usually, but it can still happen. And so if you've had any growth down there from testosterone, you may lose it. So I would say that's a big no. For if you're into weights and bodybuilding, would you prescribe more tea? No, just because the results could be damaging, in fact. So let's see. No. Oh, and I see your second part of the question. You think any trans medicine doctor would allow that? Likely not, just for the same reasons I just said. One, we're monitored very carefully by the DEA, how much we prescribe, when we prescribe, and all that stuff. And whenever they see places that prescribe more than the average dosing, they get watched closer and maybe audited and whatnot. So that's a concern as well. But also, like I said, whenever you start going upwards in doses of tea, you can start seeing that conversion into estrogen, which is kind of counterintuitive. Let's see. Somebody else says, oh, that was nice. Yeah. They said, that's how I think at the end of the day. Really doesn't matter what others think. It does hurt. Yeah, I agree. But, that on the topic of passing and whatnot. So yeah. And a couple other folks just commenting here saying, in order to get my birth certificate changed, will it be best for me to travel to Mississippi or hire a lawyer? That one, like I said, you're probably going to have to ask my friend Jensen. I don't know if you were on here whenever I first started and I referenced all that. Talking to Denise right now. So I'm going to post the forms. There's 5 of them with instructions and stuff that my friend Jensen gave me before. I'm going to post those tonight on our website, otherclinic.org, under the tab Education down at the bottom. So you can read over those. And if you still have questions, I'm going to post his email down there as well. But it's hello@transprogram.org. That way you can maybe hit him up and ask him what his experience is with that. Because like I said, he's had his fingers in all kinds of pies to do with trans advocacy, education, and stuff like that throughout the years. Let's see what else we got. Oh, yeah, I 100% agree. Where they said, not trying to sound rude, but I know a lot of cis women that look more manly than most roughneck men, and they don't try to look that way at all. So I do the best I could not worry about it. I 100% agree. So, I mean, there have been celebrities that people, in an effort to be mean, they were like, I think she's a guy, or, whatever stupid ass shit they come up with to try and make people feel bad about themselves. but there's so much variance in genetics and, differences in development and stuff. And I mean, you can have, cis women with broad shoulders, masculine jaw lines, everything, and I mean, everybody's just different. Everybody's just out here trying to live their damn life. I don't know why everyone has to and nitpick about every little thing, but we are our own worst critics. Like, I get that entirely because I have done that to myself my entire freaking life. But anyways, let me let me not get back on that topic, or else I'll get back to crying in the dressing room or whatever and being mad. I didn't end up buying anything, and actually I'm just going to wear whatever the hell I find in my closet, and oh well, they can throw me out of the wedding, I guess. So let's see. I'm also wondering about the name change thing for the state of Mississippi. I just moved here from Louisiana. Yeah, so definitely, like I said, after I get off of here, one of the first things I'm going to do is go on our website and post those forms that my friend Jensen gave me, and just go on there and download those, take a look at the instructions. If you don't understand how the instructions are saying to do things, just write to him at hello@transprogram.org, and hopefully he can kind of guide you through that process. He'll get on a phone call with you too. Like, you don't have to just like correspond by email. I mean, Jensen's just like, I think the world of him. Like, he is just all up in the trans business in Mississippi. So good dude. Let's see, moving on here. What else we got? I had to do a name change in Mississippi from my birth state of California. Recommendation: court ordering name change in Mississippi, number 1, and then number 2, vital records birth certificate amendment in home state. Oh, but court order. Yeah. So yeah, and I agree. Whenever you come from a different state and have birth certificates in different states, sometimes it can get a little bit more complex. Although, like, I've heard some states are pretty easy. Like, they'll let you do it all online. Others are kind of a pain in the ass and want you to like actually go there. And in this COVID world, who the hell has time for that, really? Trying to travel and stuff. Like, come on, get with the picture. Like, we've been all online now for 2 years. Figure it out. Jesus Christ. Anyways, so yeah, I definitely need to post those forms on there because that's a big topic of interest. Let's see. So, someone's got a question on estrogen gel. If I apply e-gel on the side of hips locally, would that help for promoting hips widening? I'm 28, trans woman, really want to do my best in widening my hips. Thank you. So here's the thing with hips. Number 1, not really. That's not really going to do anything. Widening of the hips is going to have to do with fat redistribution. There is a lot of myth and bullshit out there that says you're going to change your bone structure if you start hormone therapy before a certain age and all this. So I got news for people. Your epiphyseal plates in your bones, those are what's responsible for capping off and stopping bone growth. And that shit stops when you're a teenager. Once that's stopped, you can't restart it. So that sucks. That totally sucks. But here we are, and I'm not going to lie to people just to, give them false hope. So the widening of the hips is really going to depend on the fat redistribution. I have seen people who have been trying this thing where they basically weight cycle, where they lose a little bit of weight, then gain a little bit of weight back, with the thought that when you lose the weight, you gain it back and you'll gain it in a more feminine pattern. Logically, that makes sense. I have not seen any studies proving that this works. And a lot of times the body does not follow logic in the way that it does things. I would say getting a good workout routine can actually help with molding the body better, so that you can kind of chisel out the kind of waist that you're looking for, to where you have more of that hourglass shape. And then thickening the thighs and the glute muscles will then help create that shape down toward the bottom even better. And then whenever you get fat padding that redistributes over those muscles, then you're going to see it even more, and it'll smooth that muscle pattern out. That would be probably my best advice for folks who are looking to get that more of a traditional feminine hip shape where you flare out at the bottom. Although I'm here to tell you, some of us, like myself, just do this, and I mean, here I am, cis, and I ain't got nothing for shape. Although that's also probably because I don't work out a whole lot. So anyways, so yeah, certain muscle workouts for thickening up those thighs thickening up the glutes, especially like the tops of the glutes. Like the bottom is great because then you'll get this great contour butt, and that's great for anybody, right? But also working out the glute muscles up top because that's going to kind of come around the side and give you that flare. And then, like I said, as you're on hormone therapy, and you get that fat redistribution pattern and that fat starts coating those muscles, that's when you're going to see like a lot better of a widening of hips. But as far as like stuff that I've heard of like bone structure and stuff, that unfortunately nature doesn't follow that because the epiphyseal plates all close up. Now there is something to be said for ligaments changing length and here and there, because it is pretty normal, I guess you would call it, to have trans women or trans feminine individuals complain of like low back and hip pain. A lot of times this is because the cartilage in between joints and ligaments can change size. Frequently it is like the cartilage gets smaller, and it's the reverse for trans masculine. The cartilage can get a little bit more lengthy. So trans feminine individuals on estrogen tend to see like their hands and feet look just a little bit smaller. I'm not talking like you lose a ton of shoe sizes or something like that, but I mean, it is visibly noticeable that, hey, my hands are a little bit smaller and stuff like that. And then the ligaments loosening up and changing length to where the back seems like it's a little bit more what we call in medicine lordotic, which means you've got that S curve in the bottom of the spine. That didn't even really look like a shit. Anyway, the kind of a little pattern right there in the low back that you really see in like pregnant ladies. You know, you'll see them, they're like, oh my God, and their back looks like it's going to break in half or something. But anyway, so ligaments can change in there. And I think that this is probably where people get that thought that like bone structure and stuff is happening. Interestingly enough, there was recently a study on if trans women could potentially have a uterus transplanted into them, and also transplant, you know, like a fetus or something like that. Could they potentially give birth through, you know, where the birth canal would be if they were given a neovagina? And the answer is that most likely they couldn't give birth that way with the pelvis that they have. Some people, like I said, difference in development, you can have a very widened pelvic opening. But for the most part, most folks' pelvises are already fused and everything. And it would basically, you would have to break the pelvis to do that. But it was found to be definitely a possibility that you could have a uterine transplant, carry a child, have a C-section and whatnot. So a little bit of step in the right direction for the future here. Anyway, sorry, I know I got way off of there. Your original question was, if you apply e-gel to the sides of hips, would that help in promoting hips widening? I'm going to have to say no. I've never seen studies on that. So, I mean, like, literally anything's possible in nature. I'm not ever going to say, like, somebody's, you know, it won't hurt. You know, it certainly won't hurt. You'll still be absorbing your estrogen gel. So, I mean, hey, you can certainly put it there. But like I said, it's really and truly, it's going to be like where your fat redistribution is, and what your body type is. Cause like I said, some of us, like myself, we just don't have that hourglass figure no matter what, you know. I'm the same size here as I am right here. And I got like in the middle. So anyway, let's see, what was somebody saying? I'm a great doctor. Well, I'm a nurse practitioner, but whatever. I am working on my doctorate degree, but it's not like a medical doctorate degree. It's, you know, doctorate of nursing. But thanks for the compliment anyway. Let's see. And let's see. Miss Denise, did you know that COVID shots will give you a positive syphilis test? Been going to this place for my meds last 3 years. Last test showed positive for syphilis. Well then, okay. I've never heard that, but that is an interesting factoid. That would be, so I would actually, rather than it being the COVID vaccine, I would wonder about the person who gave you the vaccine, what they did with that thing before they gave it to you. Good God. What are they doing over there? Anyways, so that would be something to discover. Let's see. Da-da-da. Okay, no more questions on the sideline right now. Let me see what other little questions I got written down. Definitely write in if you want to. Anything, throw anything at me. I don't care. If I can't answer it, I'm going to tell you. Or if it's an answer that's going to be too long, well, then I'll make another whole video about it. But anyways, let's see. Da-da-da-da-da. What is the best? What's the best HRT method for testosterone or estrogen? That's really going to be dependent on the person. I mean, and I'm guessing what they meant was, injections versus patches and pills and stuff like that. And I mean, honestly, I mean, I can tell you 100% that if you want a regimen that will get you good levels quick and it's reliable, it's going to be injections all the way, either way. However, plenty of other people out there have found success regarding estrogen therapy with patches and pills. But like I said, some people will try pills. They don't absorb them for crap. Some people try patches. They don't absorb them for crap either. And then similar with testosterone, the traditional method is injectable testosterone. And while there are patches out there, they are hellaciously expensive and what the crap. And there's only one legal testosterone pill out there. Up until like this last year, there were none because oral testosterone is by and large toxic to the liver. So I'm actually curious how they got this one through all the hoops that you have to jump through. But it's like several $100s a month. I mean, what the hell? It's called Jatenzo or some shit like that. Anyways, I figure I'm probably not going to have to worry about that for several years because they're just going to keep charging $1,000 a damn month, and no insurance company's ever going to cover that when there's cheaper stuff available. But anyway, the other option for testosterone that's really common would be like gel, topical stuff. That's okay affordable for in some areas anyway. It can run anywhere from like 40 to 60 bucks a month. Sometimes insurance will cover it, not all the time, but anyway, some people have success with that. Some people absolutely hate it because you got to do it every day, and that's kind of annoying. So anyway, so what is the best HRT method? I really don't have, because everybody's so different. Everyone absorbs differently. The only thing I can 100% say is that injectable therapy, T or E, will definitely get your levels where they need to be, guaranteed. Like, I don't even have to worry about you absorbing it. It will happen. So whatever regimen you can actually do and function with, I guess, would be the better answer. Let's see. Somebody wrote over here some stuff. What we got? Sometimes I get a burning sensation when injecting T. Not awful, not often. Why does this happen? So, okay, a lot of people ask this. So, and I really should look this back up because this is like years ago I looked this up. It's for one or the other. I think, but don't quote me on this. I think that testosterone was basic, meaning it's a base, not an acid, but I can't remember. Shit, it's been so long. Anyway, so it is a different pH than your body. That's the main point. You can go Google that later and see. Somebody let me know if, in this feed, if you Google it as testosterone, what the pH of it is. Anyways, so it's going to be somewhat different than the pH of your body. And anytime something that is a different pH than your body goes into an area that is not usually going to be seeing different pH levels, like say your stomach, like you eat acids and bases all day long, your stomach just takes some num, whatever, it deals with it. But when you stab yourself in the butt or the leg or the belly fat or something like that, that's an area that's not going to be used to getting an acid or a base in it, and it's going to burn. And that's why. It's nothing bad. It's just sometimes, your body's going to say, what the hell? This is different. It's just letting you know that something is there that it doesn't think should be there. Anyway, hopefully that helped. I don't know. Let's see. Can you inject estradiol into your stomach? Hopefully you just mean into the belly fat, not the actual stomach. Yeah, I know what you mean. But yes, you can. You're going to be doing a subcutaneous injection instead of an intramuscular injection. So everybody's familiar with intramuscular injections. That's where usually you'll see trans dudes, trans ladies, non-binary folks, whichever way they're going with estrogen or testosterone, they're stabbing themselves in the thigh. That's intramuscular. Or they could get it up here, shoulder, or they could go upper outer butt cheek. That's intramuscular. It's you go down about an inch deep into the muscle and inject. Subcutaneous. People are familiar with diabetics. That's what they usually use as subcutaneous little insulin needles. And so you go down about a half an inch into the fat at a 45-degree angle for subcutaneous, as opposed to a 90-degree angle, which would be like, boop, straight up and down for intramuscular, or 45-degree angle like this, going into the fat about a half an inch on the belly. You can also do it on the chicken wing back of the arm or the outside of the thigh, where sometimes a lot of people have that chunk, a little fat chunk right there. So those are the most common subcutaneous injection sites. So yes, you can do estradiol there. Yay. Let's see what we got. Someone checking in late. Will this stream be in video form to watch later? And glad you're feeling better. Well, thank you. For those that didn't know, me and my husband both had COVID a couple of weeks ago. I'm still feeling half stupid, in case you can't tell. It gave me COVID brain. We lucked out. It wasn't the breathing kind where you can't breathe or anything. I saw enough of that shit where I work in a hospital locally. But anyways, we just had the kind where we got really tired, felt achy, and kind of stupid for a while. Like I left the oven on, didn't know, and I'm walking around the house like, why does it smell funny in here? Anyways, so we are better. The stream should be in video form later. I am still figuring this shit out. I marked it. It said that, if I click this little thing, that then it would automatically download as a video that I could then load later. So I'm fingers crossed that it didn't lie to me. Technology. Anyway, let's see. And then, do I have any diet recommendations for individuals on HRT? So not overly so. I don't have anything like, oh man, you gotta drink this or eat this or whatever. I will say, like, for those who are, say, trans masculine, I always advise, like, if you want to maximize your transition results and just kind of move them along as fast as possible, which testosterone goes so much faster than estrogen therapy. Let me just stop here and commiserate with all you trans femme individuals out there, because holy shit, how unfair with how fast T goes. But whatever, if people on T, not to down you or anything, but if people on T want to get, as fast results as they can, really and truly, you need to do like a strength and conditioning type workout. And whenever you're doing that, eat appropriately, meaning, if you wanted to be perfect about it, you can do like low carb, high protein, especially like your, muscle workouts and everything. Some people advocate for, eating a little bit more carbs on the workout days so that, you have a little bit more to burn through and all that. I am not a nutritionist, but, muscle building and everything is going to make you change faster, because you're going to rearrange your fat pads a lot faster. You're going to get that more defined masculine look a lot faster. Now, for those who are on the trans feminine side, doing estrogen therapy, that's not to say that you should not work out or eat healthy or anything like that. Although I do have a lot of people who tell me, they're like, I just want to eat a whole bunch of fatty stuff so that I'll gain fat, so that I'll get boobs. And that's not 100% how it works. If you eat a whole bunch of trash food and you get chest tissue from that, it's probably just going to be like fatty tissue and not actual like breast tissue with, the lobular tissue and ductal tissue in it. It's just going to be fat, and it's not as, that's not really what you're going for usually, I guess is what I'm trying to say. For workouts for trans femme individuals, at least in your first couple of years, I advise them to focus more on cardio, and, or like I said, if you want to try and change that shape, then I would work on things that would whittle the waist in a way that is more feminine-like. And there are plenty of YouTube videos out there of folks that are showing how you can get that lower abdominal wall and back muscles and everything to kind of go in, so that then you kind of come out, and then you can create that further look by getting, slightly thicker thighs, thicker booty, and all that with those workouts. But I don't advise a lot of upper body workouts and stuff other than, maybe yoga, something like that, or Pilates, things of that nature, because feminizing therapy, you're going to lose muscle tissue over time. Usually within the first couple of years, 2 or 3 years, you're going to lose somewhere between 20 and 30% of your muscle tissue, muscle mass, that is. And that's going to kind of help slim down the shoulder area. So if you're working those out like muscle building workouts, that's going to kind of be counteracting that effect. You know what I mean? So I would say work out the thighs, the booty, and lower abdomen to kind of cinch it in and give that more feminine type waistline if that's what you're going for, and then more cardio, just to keep healthy. And yoga and Pilates is always nice, low impact and all that stuff, and give the hormones time to get that fat redistribution going, because that's where it really makes a difference. There is that fat redistribution and all. And then as the muscle tissue, the muscle mass kind of decreases over time. I know it's never fair. Like the trans masculine people get all the stuff that they can do, and all the trans feminine people, it's like, just hurry up and wait, man. Anyway, so let's see. Anybody else got anything on here? I watched your progesterone video, said Tanner 4 is a better time to add progesterone. But the online people, says Dr. Power, suggests Tanner 3. Love to hear from you. So the online people are watching Will's video that was made in 2019. He has since changed his opinion, so you should tell them to study their own shit. I don't know what to tell you. If they're going to throw a video from almost 4 years ago now up as their evidence for a Tanner stage 3, then maybe they ought to keep up with Will and and see what he has to say now. Because what he now says is that you who, what, where, when, why, I'll tell you in a second. It's Dr. William Powers in Michigan. Really great dude. But anyway, so Will now advocates for just waiting as long as possible, and doesn't really say you have to wait till a particular stage. He's just said it seems to be more beneficial the longer you can wait, the better, before adding, even up until, 4, years into a 4, because he's had people come to him who have had breast growth stalled out. They've been transitioned for 10 years, and then he puts them on progesterone, and it seems to take them over that little hump that they were waiting on. So it's the thing is, it seems like you could possibly add it too soon. Loose evidence, not really. I hate to even call it evidence. It's more conjecture and theory amongst us who practice this form of medicine, and we just see patterns in people's development. It seems like if you add progesterone, that is, too early, it may not get the kind of results they're looking for, meaning it might stall them out. And then you can just come off of it, though. I've had someone who stalled out, I've had a few people who stalled out on progesterone that they wanted to start early. And all you do, you just come off of it and nature resumes its course. You just do estrogen again for a period of time and it'll resume. And then you can pick up progesterone later if you need to. No big deal. But I advocate for that as well. And like I said earlier on, whenever I, was talking about this earlier in the video or feed or whatever the hell you call this, I would say, I tell people I won't prescribe it for you until you've been on estrogen therapy for a year, because I just don't feel good about that. By and large, most of the time, I will let people try out just about anything they want, as long as I don't feel like it will hurt them. But I do feel like there is the potential for at least slowing their development if you just go with progesterone right off the bat. And that's because of, like I said earlier, how, cisgender development with teenage girls, you don't have progesterone as involved in the first couple of years as you do later on. And so I tell people bare minimum be on estrogen therapy for a year. As for myself, I would say at least 2 years, just to give it enough time to get some tissue here, because progesterone's not really adding tissue. It's just rounding out what you got. So it helps, mature that lobular tissue in the breast, and you've got some ductal tissue in there as well. So it's maturing that tissue and it makes it round out, but it's not, it's kind of an illusion that the breasts get bigger. It's really, they're just filling out, but anyway, so that's a long answer of saying that. That's what I would say is they really need to follow him a little bit closer, especially on his Reddit page. His subreddit, Dr. William Powers, is where I follow him too, or I'll email him if I have, if I see he's doing something interesting. I'm like, hey, dude, what are you talking about, or whatever. I'll email him and ask his opinion on some stuff. But really cool doctor up in Farmington Hills, Michigan. I believe his practice is called Powers Family Medicine Practice. But anyway, he has a lecture from 2019 that he did on transgender hormone therapy. He also has some really cool crap in there about like developmental things that may have, theoretically may be part of the reason why folks develop as transgender. I mean, it's a lot of it is kind of more theoretical and whatnot. But I mean, a lot of it does make, decent sense and really deserves a lot more delving into than, well, I mean, that's like wishing for freaking world peace, isn't it? For people to pick up and start pouring money into trans research. Anyway, so yeah, Dr. William Powers, you can check him out on Reddit is the best place. He has a lot of followers on there who are very up to date on his method of hormone therapy and who can answer a lot of questions. There's a lot of idiots on there too. So, I mean, you got to kind of watch it, read over a lot of the answers, and you'll see who consistently is answering in a very, scientific manner and logical manner rather than, there's jackasses everywhere. They'll jump on there and be like, I saw that if you drink paint, it'll do whatever. Anyway, so watch out. But I fairly closely follow what Dr. Powers does with my own form of hormone therapy. And I mean, the main difference between what him and I do and what the vast majority of other healthcare providers do whenever they do transgender medicine is going to have to do with the trans feminine individuals and estrogen. There's a little bit of difference between what we do and what other folks do with testosterone therapy, but not a lot. But with feminizing therapy, it's like freaking worlds of difference. Like, I don't even know how these other healthcare providers out here are functioning, doing this medicine stuff that they learned from that was created 30 years ago and doesn't even make any logical sense anyway. But anyway, it usually has to do with, we do high dose estrogen therapy. So, you'll see practitioners out there and they put you on 2 milligram tab once daily of estradiol, and then they load you up with some dumb shit like spironolactone or something like that, because you don't have enough estradiol from that one tablet to control your testosterone level. So they have to give you spironolactone. What we do, Dr. Powers and I, the way we practice is we give you a high enough dose of estradiol that your hypothalamus and pituitary glands shut down production of FSH and LH, which are the two things that send down to the gonads downstairs and tell them to produce testosterone. Whenever that happens, guess what? You stop production of testosterone on your own. You don't need a T blocker. You just need higher levels of estradiol. It's pretty freaking easy. Don't really know why people don't know how the endocrine system works when that's kind of their job. Anyways, oh my God. So let's see. Do I have any other questions at this time? Doesn't look like it. I'm going to give a couple more seconds here in case anybody wants to write in. Like I said, I was really only looking to do this for like 30 minutes and I've almost taken up a damn hour. So, it seemed pretty easy, I think, answering. I don't know how quick the feed is, how quick I'm seeing your question versus answering it and all that. It said something like I could choose a less quality video or something, and then I could respond. I don't fucking know what the hell this stuff does. But anyways, oh, hold on. That's a good question, actually. And I want to do a whole video on that, but I can give you a good short answer. How would estrogen blockers help a trans guy? So most of the time, like well over 90% of the time, you don't need an estrogen blocker if you're a trans guy. But there are some cases where you might. And let me kind of go over a couple of those. So estrogen blockers really aren't like blockers, they prevent testosterone from changing into estrogen. And in case nobody knew, that's how the body makes estrogen. It converts testosterone into estrogen. All the hormones convert in and out of one another, and it's crazy and whatever, which one can go to which kind and all this stuff. But one of the main way that we produce estrogen in the body is that we take testosterone and we take this thing called aromatase and we go and it aromatizes into different kinds of estrogen, because there's loads of different kinds of estrogens. We just mainly talk about estradiol, but there's also estriol, there's estrone. Anyways, so when you go on testosterone is literally just so power packed that you don't need an estrogen blocker. It will overpower any estrogen in your system, like hands down. That's if you have like sufficient dosing. I mean, if your testosterone level is only like 100, I mean, that's not really enough to overpower the estrogen in your system. But usually with trans guys that are like binary trans guys, we're aiming for the cis levels of somewhere in the ballpark of 350 to 900, depending on how soon after your shot that the labs got drawn. Now, non-binary folks, depends on your goal. We might shoot for the lower levels of that range, or even lower. It just kind of depends. But if your levels are above, say, about 350, you're going to overcome any effects that estrogen has on you. It doesn't even matter. However, the instances where you might use something like anastrozole, for example, anastrozole is an aromatase inhibitor. Remember aromatase? That's what we need to convert testosterone into estrogen. So we take an aromatase inhibitor, which then inhibits aromatase, and then testosterone can't change over into estrogen. And why we would do that is if someone is on testosterone, usually that's going to stop their cycle. But not always. You always have the chance, if you still have the parts, you can still have a cycle every once in a wicked while. But if you started having it on a more regular basis, like monthly or, every 6 weeks or something, to where it's like, okay, this is becoming annoying and it's a real pain in the ass. One option is you could go on birth control. I would just go on a non-estrogen containing birth control and stop that. Or you could have one of those inserts implanted in your arm or in the uterus or whatever. But you could also take an aromatase inhibitor. Now, long-term studies of those in trans people are not plentiful. Actually, I can't think of one off the top of my head right now. So usually that's something that you do for like several years and try and get off of it. Or like if I have someone who has a cycle, I'm going to put them on it for a very limited time, like a month, maybe 2 months, and then see if we can taper off and see if it calmed down the cycling response in the body. And usually it does, and they can come off of it and it's not a big deal. Every now and then you'll have someone that just, for whatever reason, their parts are like, nope, I'm working here, and they need to take the aromatase inhibitor for a longer period of time. Then there are some few people that no matter what their T level is, remember how earlier I said that if your T level gets too high, that it will trigger the body's response to aromatize and change testosterone into estrogen. There are some people who their body just does that anyway. Like, doesn't matter. And that's one of the reasons why I monitor estrogen levels in my transmasculine individuals, is to make sure that it doesn't look like that's what's happening. But anyways, so if that is something that's happening, then they would also, be able to go on that and help prevent it. So that's the usual application of estrogen blocking type agents, is if there is a problem with T converting into E. But generally you don't just need them, because T is such a powerhouse asshole. It just comes in and it's like, and doesn't pay any attention to the estrogen in the room, and it just overpowers it. So you don't really need it. Hopefully that was a really long answer. God, I run my mouth. Let's see. See what other people did. Yeah, I'm really great, Denise, that they have been treating you well over there. That is awesome. Let's see. I forgot to mention that from before. Oh, they're saying it went better. I thought I was ending, and then someone asked a question. But I appreciate the feedback on how the video feed is going. Let's see. In the UK, we don't have estrogen injection. Wow, that sucks ass. What? Anyway, and I heard many YouTubers say that they got a lot of changes after they switched to an e-injection. I'm thinking that would be worth for me to switch. I would agree. That really sucks. You don't have e-injections. What the fuck is the matter? Anyway, okay, well, I mean, America's got its own healthcare system problems as well, and I mean, I know y'all do too, but yeah, I really and truly believe that the reason that people get great bouncing results after they switch from, say, pills to injectable therapy. I know there's, the theory out there that Dr. Powers had put out about whole estrone needing to be, high in the beginning, whatever. He's kind of seemingly rethought some of that since then. But anyway, I really think that the main reason is because your levels are so much steadier on injections. Because if you just think about the way I prescribe injections, and versus pills. So pills, I prescribe 2 milligram pills 3 times a day to start off with, before rechecking labs and seeing if that did it. I know a lot of people do that once a day, which is bullshit since the strength of the pill lasts about 8 hours. Why would you do it once a day? That's dumb. Anyways, so I do 3 times a day, which is a pain in the ass. And that means that your estrogen levels are doing this all day long. Whereas a once weekly injection, you got all through the week. That's pretty sweet. So your levels are staying nice and steady. Your cells are being exposed to all this estrogen and everything, as opposed to pills where it's like, all right, we got plenty of estrogen. Maybe not. All right, we got estrogen again. Maybe not. Anyways, so I really think that that's why people experience that whenever they switch to injections, is just your levels are so much easier to attain and they're steadier. I mean, you just can't beat that. Anyways, that sucks that don't have injections. Is it that they don't have injections or that they just won't prescribe it? Because I find that that's a problem with a lot of people too. Let's see. What's it got? Would getting feminine parts removed help transitioning? Yes, depending on which parts you mean. I'm assuming you mean like the ovaries. So if you got rid of your ovaries, that would certainly help, because then you don't have any estrogen to battle against, even though testosterone easily overcomes any estrogen you have in your system. It certainly is easier if you take that out of the equation, don't even have to worry about it. And then you don't even have to worry about like cycling and stuff, especially if you get a total hysterectomy, then yeah, you're definitely like, you're not, you're not going to cycle. You're not going to have any of that stuff. If you just got like your ovaries taken out, then of course, because I know some people might want to preserve the uterus to carry a child later or whatever. But they, if you get the ovaries taken out, then you won't have that estrogen cycling throughout the month to worry about with, your testosterone overpowering, and it won't be causing any of the breakthrough bleeding that can occur. So yes, I would have to say that if you get those feminine parts taken out down there, it definitely can help. I don't think that it's an absolute necessity for everyone to do, but I do think that, for some individuals, yes, it could certainly help. And I know, like myself, if my uterus fell out and caught on fire, I'd be like, all right. Anyway, let's see. Someone said, oh, thank you, Betty Joe. Just want to say thank you. It's been a blessing in my life. Love y'all. Let's see. I just started the e-injection yesterday. That's why I went that route. Yeah. Let's see. Most of Europe doesn't have e-injection, sadly, only patches or pills. That is really shitty. Okay. Like, I need to tell you all that, because that, I'm sure you're very well aware. Why? That's so weird. Like, they do, like, whatever. What do I know? Shit. Anyway, let's see. Thoughts about Decapeptyl. That one I'm not familiar with. Okay, so is that something that's available in another country or something? Like, that one's weird to me. If it's just a GnRH agonist, then I can tell you about it. But if it's something specific about that one in particular, which I guess I could try and Google it too while I'm just sitting here. Decapeptyl. What the fuck, man? So let's see. Assisted reproductive technology to reduce the cycle cancellation. So, if all it is a GnRH, yeah, there it is. Okay. So it's a synthetic version of the GnRH. So it's simulating GnRH then, I guess, and that way you take it and it thinks that it's getting your body thinks it's getting a steady signal of GnRH or whatever, so that'll shut down stuff as well. Anyways, so my thoughts on those is that they can be very helpful in some individuals that are having difficulty. Like, I think they have very limited application in adults. Now, they might have very good applications in trans youth who just need the puberty blockade, which is what GnRH agonists are going to be utilized for mostly. But like every now and then there will be someone who has a really, really tough time. Usually it's going to be on the trans feminine spectrum. It'll be someone really having a hard time getting that testosterone level down. I, as of yet, haven't been like unsuccessful getting someone's testosterone level down with just high dose estrogen therapy, but I have had a few people where it just took longer than usual. And I think that a lot of those people out there could probably greatly benefit from a medicine like that, especially if they're seeing a practitioner that's doing these low shit doses of estradiol, so that you're going to need some kind of either testosterone blocker or something like a GnRH agonist so that it will prevent you from producing your natal hormones. And for those out there who are wondering, that's what a GnRH agonist does. It's working up here in that same area with the pituitary and hypothalamus and all that, as whenever you go on that high dose estrogen therapy to shut down production of that FSH and LH so that you then don't produce testosterone on your own, except for the adrenal glands. The adrenal glands are always going to produce a small amount, but we all need a small amount of testosterone for bone and brain health and stuff. So don't freak out about a little bitty piddly amount of T. We're talking about testosterone levels in the hundreds, not 50 or something like that. But anyways, that's interesting. Little med for me there, which I don't usually deal with GnRH agonists because I treat mainly adults, 18 and older. So that's why I'm just like, I'm familiar with them, but I don't commonly have to use them. So sorry about that. Let's see, patches or pills. Switch me to patches. At the same time, my T levels were also going through the roof. That sucks. Yeah, and the thing that I see with patches sometimes is that people will either not absorb very well, and there are some people who will wear them for a while and they do just fine, and then all of a sudden it's like, man, this body just doesn't feel like absorbing them anymore. Like, what the hell? I don't know what's going on there. And as soon as that happens, we just switch off of patches to something else because I honestly don't know what it is. There's some weird sensitivity thing that they get and they just no longer absorb. But some people just don't absorb right off the bat, and patches just aren't for them. Anywho's, let's see. Oh, I guess you were just clarifying for the GnRH agonist. So that was what you were using it as a T blocker there. Yeah. So yeah, correct. Let's see. She was hammering at me to take Spiro, but that stuff gives me too many bad side effects. I don't doubt it. Too many bad side effects. She won't prescribe anything else but Spiro. I mean, I hate to judge. Okay, anyways. Anybody who's stuck on Spiro, just honestly, I mean, I get why they do it, because they read a book based on shit that was done 30 years ago for trans people, and they hadn't updated since, and it's the safe way and it's the way they've always done it. But people who, want to treat trans folks, I don't know. I wish they would do a little bit better training or education for themselves. I know it's not easy to get because it's just piecemeal a lot of times, but it's just y'all deserve so much better than the piecemeal trash medicine that you get, which is just like, well, let's see if I can find a provider that does it. And, and then let's find a provider that actually knows what the hell they're doing, at least part of the way. And then find a provider that, they do it, they know what they're doing at least halfway, and they'll listen to me. Oh, shit. Anyways. So, I mean, that sucks. That sucks ass. I don't even know anything else to say about that other than that just completely sucks ass. Let's see. Do you think I should stop progesterone if I'm only 6 months in, 32A, and everything is still sore? 12 milligrams IM weekly for E. I would say, I mean, like I said, everybody's going to be different. No official medical advice. So I'm going to say if it was me personally, and I had been started on progesterone right off the bat, I would probably taper off of it over a couple of weeks, because if you just stop something suddenly, you're going to notice effects, right? Like, because people find that it can affect their mood and stuff like that. And if you just mess with your hormones by coming off of and onto another hormone, so suddenly, but that's just me. Like I said, if you've already been on it and you're getting at least breast development, because that's the thing. Like, I find that folks that start off on it pretty early, I don't necessarily think that progesterone is what's causing them to develop breasts. I think that the estradiol is what's causing them to develop breasts. And then there's this mistaken thought that if they hadn't been on it, or if I get off of it, that I won't develop anymore. Because breast tissue will develop all on its own with estradiol for a good long while before progesterone is even needed. And then some people don't even need progesterone. That's the weird thing, right? So all these hormones, they're already in your body to some degree, as well as progesterone. Progesterone is actually a hormone that starts way up in the food chain of hormones. Most of the sex hormones, they start off as a cholesterol, and then they change into all these fun things like hydroxypregnenolone and progesterone, and on down the line they become some androgens like DHEA and androstenediol or whatever, and then testosterone, and then estrogen. Anyways, so progesterone is pretty versatile. It can be converted into lots and lots of shit, which is one of the drawbacks of taking it, because I find that probably about 50% of people that I put on progesterone, it doesn't seem to do anything for, and I think that that's because their body is just set up to convert it into another hormone, and you can usually tell which kind of hormone by what happens to them when they take it. If you get an increase in libido when you take progesterone, it's probably not staying progesterone. It's probably converting into an androgen, which is a masculine hormone. And all those masculine hormones out there, they do the same shit in the body that testosterone does. They can cause libido to go up. They can cause those morning accidents and stuff like that. So if you find that your libido goes up after you've been on progesterone, you're probably converting it into androgens and not so much getting much use of it as progesterone. Some people say, maybe if you're doing that, you're taking it orally and you're getting that effect, you can, try it rectally as well. It's the very same pill. But I don't know if that actually, it might change how you absorb it and if you convert it or not. Because that will help bypass a lot of like the stuff that happens whenever the liver filters it through the blood. But anyways, so just let me stop rambling about progesterone for a minute and just get back to the question. So if you're already on it and you're still having breast development, I would stay and just do, whatever your provider's doing. Because I can tell you right now how much fun it is to have someone go and talk to another healthcare provider and get advice from them and then be told by them, well, this person said this. It's not usually a great conversation starter with your healthcare provider. And I know that really sucks. But because a lot of healthcare providers don't want input. They don't, they're not open to discussion, and they feel like you're challenging them and all this crap. And, and I see this so much. So whatever. Anyway, I'm gonna move off that topic and see if anybody else had anything right quick. Thank you for the live thing. Yay. Yeah, I plan on doing it again too, because this was fun. I think anyway. I don't know. Let's see. I don't know what this person put, if it was Red. Okay. I don't know. Let's see. How do you feel about BioT? I don't really feel any particular way about it. You mean pellet therapy, I'm guessing is what you're asking about. I actually went and got trained to do pellet therapy several weeks ago now, because we're planning at some point in time in the future, whenever I'm no longer working at the hospital, we're planning on implementing some pellet therapy, hopefully, if it ends up being feasible. It is like not exactly as cheap as, just getting injectable T or E or whatever. But so I do think it is a viable method of hormone therapy for some people. Like some people just, they ain't going to come in there and have you ram these Tylenol size capsules in their butt fat. Like that's not a thing they're going to be comfortable with. But the privacy that it provides, where you can just put those suckers in and for several months not even have to worry about shit, that's pretty nice, you know? So, I mean, I would say I'm positive towards them. I don't think that they are for everybody. Because one of the things through the training that we learn is that some people have like a very aggressive immune system, and so their immune system eats those little pellets up really quick. And so then, the pellets only last maybe 3 months instead of 6 months in some individuals. And that sucks because if you pay, what were they saying, like $400 to get this crap shoved in your butt fat. And then, it's like you were told they could last up to 6 months and it's 3 months. I would probably go back to injections if it was me anyway. But, the privacy thing is definitely a plus, though, because then you don't have to worry about going to a pharmacy. You don't have to worry about taking medicine. I mean, that is pretty sweet. So I don't know. Like I said, your mileage may vary. It's good for some folks. Let's see. No. Being safer, maybe. I don't know. A lot of these, the trainings that they have for these companies are really geared towards selling the product. Like BioT, the reason I didn't go and get trained by them was because they were trying to sell their particular pellets. And that just really pissed me off because I'm just not like, I'm going to you to get trained how to shove pellets in somebody's butt. I don't need to hear about your stupid ass medicine and how you want me to like market it and stuff. Like it was ridiculous. It's very high pressure sales. Feels like you're doing one of those, what do you call them? Timeshare things where you sit there and you're basically a captive audience. I didn't like that at all. I told them to go kiss my ass. And I went with another company that doesn't sell that stuff at all. They were just there for educating people about that type of hormone therapy and how to do the insertions and everything. So that was why I went with this other company, just to get trained. Anyway, so not too sure on the safety profile of them, if they're really better necessarily. I think it's just they base that opinion off of the smoother levels that you have over time, which I would have to agree that is definitely a plus, and it's one of the reasons I would recommend them to some individuals. That's certainly, but like I said, your mileage may vary. I said, yeah, it got too expensive, so I had to stop. I agree. Yeah, that's one of the reasons we stayed away from it for a while, because we're like, this shit, can anybody even afford this? I can't afford it. Shit. Anyway. Oh, okay. That's just a bot up there. Thanks for explaining it to the old person. Those Russian accounts comment on almost every random live feed. So good job. Let's see. Had to get a new one every 3 months. Guess that means I have you might have an aggressive immune system, or they could buy so as I said, high pressure sales tactics. Those pellet companies are there to make money, and when you get trained by them. Let me take a sip. My mouth is just dry. When you get trained by BioT, you sign a contract for like 2 years or some shit like that, and say that you will be their provider and you will list that this way on your site, and you will only use their kind of pellets. That sounds pretty fucking suspicious to me. That's why, again, I didn't go with them. And I really think that places they can make their pellets last a little bit longer, a little bit shorter. They can't make them last forever because it does have something to do with how your body breaks them down. But higher quality pellets can last up to 5-6 months. And I really feel like the ones that last for 3 months are just trying to get you to pay more money. It's just me. Anyways, let's see. I heard that in Australia, they give the option for trans femme and trans masc to use hormone pellets that are inserted into the skin and would last for a while. That's kind of what I'm talking about, or at least I think so. Are you talking about the ones that are just subcutaneous pellets? Because I've seen those. I think they're really neat. These are the kind I'm talking about. Essentially, are the same thing, although they may be different sized than this. These typically go on the outside of the butt cheek into the fat along the side of it. It's hard to explain, I know, but my little Mr. Fluffles. Anyways, it would be like right here along the outside butt cheek on Mr. Fluffles in the butt fat, which is the subcutaneous tissue here. It's just usually there's a good deep piece of subcutaneous fat right there to be used. And you insert them in there and they last for several months. The high quality ones generally will last 5 to 6 months. Unless you have like a really heightened immune system that's just really aggressive, then you might break them down sooner. And then there are people who sell pellets that just break down really quick because they're out there to make a buck. And then there are just lower quality pellets, which generally cost the provider a little bit less to purchase, but whatever. And they just break down quicker just because they're made cheaper. That's all. So my thoughts are they can be good for some people, again. So let's see. These are the ones inserted into the arm. Yeah, so those are the ones I've heard about. I haven't seen them. They may be done in America. I just haven't seen that advertised where it's kind of like, what do they call it? The Implanon that they put for birth control, kind of in the chicken wing fat right here. I've seen them putting it there. I don't see why you couldn't put stuff there except for how thick these are. So let me just give you an example of like the typical dose of testosterone is going to be several hundred milligrams. And the largest tablet that they come in is a 200 milligram tablet. And that tablet is the size of, if not a hair bigger than, like your typical Tylenol tablet. And you got to shove like 8 of those bitches into their skin, into their butt fat. That's pretty intense. And for estrogen, I believe, let's see, it was 50 milligrams was the highest dose tablet. Those are quite much smaller. I'm trying to think, they're more the size. The larger ones are the size of like the little bitty oblong Motrins, the smaller ones, the 100 or 200 milligrams, little bitty ones. They have larger Motrin tablets, so I don't know if that's really the best example or not, but it's the smaller, thin ones. Definitely smaller than a Tylenol, probably only a quarter of the size of that. But those I could maybe see fitting into the arm. But whoo, those testosterone ones, holy shit. No, you ain't doing that to me. Anyways, so it looks like the questions are done for now. So I'm going to go ahead and say, we're going to close out. I really appreciate everyone coming and showing up. I will plan on doing this again. I'll post a date and all that stuff, on our website and whatnot, and then try and schedule it here on YouTube. Now that I know how to do it, Jesus. Anyways, I feel so old. I'll be 40 this year. Woohoo. Anyways, so I will do this again. Thank you so much for coming. And now I get to figure out how to, one, end this stream, turn it into a video. And remember, I'm going to post that name change information on otherclinic.org. I'm just going to type that into the comment field in case anybody's, not understanding what I'm saying for that. So otherclinic.org, you can go on there. It's going to be under the education tab down at the bottom underneath all the links I have under the education tab. I'm going to go do that right after I get off of here. And so, give it like, if you're going to go look it up, give it like 20 or 30 minutes so that I can, put it up there. It usually is pretty quick to just upload PDF files to the website, but I am pretty slow since COVID. That's my new excuse. Anyways, yes. Love you all, and I'm assuming this button turns it off. I hope so. Bye.